Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Before we get into this one, if you could just hit that subscribe button down below, that would really help me out. But today's video is going to be about Jorginho Rutter, who has been linked with a move from TSG Hoffenheim to Leeds United in the Premier League for what would be an absolute smash of our transfer record for around £35 million. He's only 20 years old, he's 6 foot tall, and he is French. But today's video is going to be talking about how he would actually fit into this Leeds United system, and it's going to be a tactics board video. So for those of you who enjoy those, you'll enjoy this one. So then, what is his player profile? What's he like? Well, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the runs that he makes, and we're going to need the tactics board for this. Here's one I prepared earlier. So, Jorginho Rutter then. What sort of striker is he? What sort of runs does he make? Well, the main run that he makes that I think would be really good in this Leeds United team is he makes the run from out to in. Now, let's say that this is Jorginho Rutter here. He will drift wide from a central position, and he'll take up these positions here between the fullback and the centre half. And then what he likes to do is makes that curving run inside between the defenders. And what it does is it utilises that blind spot. That blind spot where this defender thinks that the fullback has it and the fullback thinks that he has it. And in between them is an opportunity to make a run. And I've seen him do this countless times in the goals that he scored and the opportunities that he's had. He makes that run from out to in. And I think that's something that Rodrigo doesn't really do. I know that Jesse Marsch likes his players to stay central, but this is a way of coming out to in and getting into those central positions whilst holding players back. So that's the first type of run that I think Jorginho Rutter could be really good at making in this Leeds team. And the other thing that's really good about him in these situations is he's so strong at holding players off him. So when a player comes to try and muscle the ball off him, we've seen Rodrigo do it so many times where he's running into the opposition half, you think, keep running towards goal, and he turns back because he doesn't back himself to hold off those players and not get tackled. Well, Jorginho Rutter is a little bit different to that. He's stronger, and he will just throw an arm out and he will push players off. The goals that I've seen him score, he's used a lot of his body strength to get in between the ball and the man behind him and use that to shield them away from him so that he can carry on his run towards goal. So I think that's really important for him. He's good in the air as well. Actually, FBref.com or SofaScore, one of these websites, WhoScored.com, said that he was weak in the air. But from what I've seen actually in the box, he's decent at winning those headers towards goal. And he scored a few of them last season. The thing about him is he has the striker's instinct. And what I mean by that is often when we've had a striker in here, let's say that we're just talking about here just to avoid confusion. So we've just got the striker there. And a lot of the times when we've got wingers, the ball will come into the box across the face of the goal like this, and there'll be nobody there to receive it. And you're thinking, well, Dan James, perhaps he's stood too far out, but it's not his fault, it's because he's a winger. But we haven't had that striker with a real striker's instinct. And when a ball comes like that into the box, Jorginho Rutter is the sort of striker who will be in the right place at the right time because it's his instinct, and his primary position is up front. He's only played there this season. So it's really important for me that we have a striker with striker's instinct who can actually know exactly where to be at the right time and finish those tap-ins, because tap-ins can win you games. So I think that's another really important point about Jorginho Rutter. He's got that striker's instinct. He stays pretty central, which is good as well, although we did talk about cutting from out to in. When his players are overlapping him, when he's perhaps dropped deep like he likes to do, he likes to drop deep as well, allow players to run off him like that, and then play the balls out wide and get himself into the box to then make this move complete, and then he's the one who can get on the end of it as well. So I think he links the play pretty well as well, which is something that we've lacked from Rodrigo, but something that Bamford always did well. But Jorginho Rutter seems to be a little bit of a combination of both of those players, in that he will drop deep, but he'll then sprint forward to get into the box to see if his pass can create something for himself in the end. He can score with both feet. I have seen him score goals with both feet. I've seen him score identical goals where he cut in from the left and he cut in from the right, and he curled them in the far top corner with both feet from opposite sides. And that is something that is incredibly good to have an ambidextrous centre forward, because if it falls to his left foot, you're not thinking, oh no, he's going to miss it. If it falls to his right foot, you're not thinking, oh no, he's going to miss it. He doesn't really have a weak foot in those situations. So more often than not, if he does get a tap in like that, he's going to bag it. And that's really, really important for a striker, especially in the Premier League. He is prone to offsides, but that's not the end of the world, because really that just shows that he's actually actively trying to break the line and he's trying to make runs and make something happen. So I don't think being offside too much is the worst thing in the world. I think timing your runs can actually get you extra goals, and it can waste opportunities. But he is young, he's only 20 years old, he's got the rest of his career to learn those sorts of things. But it shows that he's eager to try and run in behind, which is something that we will benefit from, especially against those teams further up the table who will try and play a little bit of a higher line against us, so that's good. He's also really good at dribbling. I've seen multiple clips of him taking on his player, and the best thing about his dribbling is like I talked about before, is able to hold players off. And I think that's really, really important to have in your locker, to be strong and to be able to hold people off. But he's also pretty nimble and pretty quick with his feet. And I've seen him get nutmegs on a couple of players and cut inside and actually create opportunities for his teammates, which is obviously, again, him linking up the play. So I think that's really good as well. He's a good presser and contributes defensively, which is what Jesse will want. He won't want him coming back too deep, because that's the issue that we had with Rodrigo, but he will want him to contribute defensively, and I think he will be a good part of the press, so I don't think that will be an issue that we've got to contend with. Rodrigo's not great. This isn't a video bagging on Rodrigo, by the way. It's just that he's our current starting striker, so that's who I've got to compare him to, really. He's a good presser and he contributes defensively. He's not clinical enough, but we're going to talk about his clinicality now against Rodrigo. Like I said, we're just comparing because they're the two strikers that would be competing for that place, given that Bamford's pretty much broken now. So this season, Jorginho Rutter has created 3.21 shot creating actions per 90. Now, if you're new to the channel and you haven't heard that before, shot creating action is either an assist to a shot or the pass that assisted the assister of the shot. So it's the previous two moves before a shot is taken. So that could be winning a free kick and then the free kick taker getting it in the box and someone getting on the end of it. It could also be a free kick whipped in. You're the one who took the free kick, then the person heads the ball down and somebody else gets a knock in. Something like that, basically, where it's the last two actions that will create a shot. So it just is a good barometer of how much somebody is evolved in attacking play and how many chances that they create for the players around them. And for a striker, 3.21 per 90 is actually really good. When we compare that to Rodrigo only has 1.84 shot creating actions per 90, and he's obviously scored 10 goals. But shot and creating actions is something that shows how well a player links up the player and the players around him. And I don't think Rodrigo is fantastic at linking play. He's a good finisher and he's good to have at the end of a move. But I think somebody like Jorginho Rutter could really help us out with that linking up of play. The other thing that we're going to compare, because we talked about the clinicality of things, just over 50% of Jorginho Rutter's shots are on target. Excuse me. And he's said to be not very clinical at all. But Rodrigo, 37.8% of shots are on target. So actually about 13 or 14% less of Rodrigo's shots are on target. So it's not too horrendous. You're not going to sign a striker who is going to bag everything he touches unless his name is Erling Haaland. But Jorginho Rutter, for the age he is, looks to be an absolute star in the future. But if we were to be able to get him now, down the line a couple of years, we could be looking at doubling that price and getting like around 70 million for him. If you remember when we brought in Rafinha, we signed him for 17 million, we sold him for 60 in the end. So it is possible to make a big profit on some of these players. And It sounds quite negative saying that it's to make a profit on him, but I think for now he would actually be a real help to this team. I think he would really help us out. I think he'd be a great part of this team, and I think he would fit in really well. So if you have enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comments what you think of this. I hope to try and provide a little bit of a different outlook on these transfer rumours and show you how he would actually impact our team and how he compares to current players. So like I said at the start, subscribe if you enjoy it, and hit that like button down below because I really appreciate that. Thank you for watching this one. Catch me live tomorrow for an FA Cup live watch along of the Cardiff City versus Leeds game. That will be from 2 PM tomorrow, so make sure you come and check that out. Thanks for watching this one. I'll see you next time on Leeds Lately.